What if I told you that the power with which you can change your inner world, calm your mind, and remain steady in every situation is not a new discovery? That truth was revealed thousands of years ago in the Upanishads, and the same divine knowledge was called Amrit Bindu by Rishio, the drop of nectar which, when it enters your life, can turn your restless mind, which has become your greatest enemy today, into your greatest friend. Today's world teaches us to groom the outside, build a career, increase wealth, and decorate prestige. But no one teaches us how to manage the chaos within. This is why the mind sometimes drowns in the regrets of the past, sometimes wanders in the worries of the future, and even while being in the present, remains distant from it. The Upanishads say the problem is not in the world, the problem is in the mind that is attached to objects. And when that same mind becomes free from objects, it becomes the gateway to liberation. This video is not a heavy sermon, it is a journey inward. The five simple teachings of the Amrit Bindu Upanishad, which are directly connected to life, are the five drops of nectar that calm the poison of the mind and awaken the light of inner stability. So let us begin this journey and to bring the first Amrit Bindu into your life. Let the mind be calm, steady the breath, and take the first step inward. The real nature of the problem is that our greatest enemy is not sitting outside. It resides within us as the mind. The Upanishad clearly states man is the cause of bondage and liberation for humans, meaning the mind is the cause of human bondage, and the same mind becomes the gateway to liberation. This very mind can give the experience of heaven, and this very mind can make life like hell. Take a moment to reflect on the start of your day. Does your mind remain calm and grateful upon waking? Or is it immediately surrounded by lists of tasks, worries, and complaints? This restless mind consumes your energy from within. At the time of decision making, it entangles you in countless thoughts, causing confusion. Even when you are with loved ones, it pulls you away from the present. And during moments of rest at night, it weaves such a web of thoughts that sleep also slips away. Anger, fear, jealousy, insecurity, and anxiety. All these are creations of the same undisciplined mind. We think that circumstances make us unhappy, people cause us pain, or fate deceives us. But the truth is that no external event can disturb us unless our mind accepts it. Just as a stone falling into a calm lake creates momentary ripples and then the water becomes calm again. Similarly, the nature of the mind should also be calm. But we have made it so restless that a small incident stirs up an ocean of turmoil within. And we remain submerged in it for days, months, or years. This restless mind is our bondage. It keeps us away from our true potential, the beauty of the present, and that supreme consciousness which is the infinite source of peace. Now that we have recognized this bondage, this inner enemy, let us move towards the first drop of nectar that will lead us on the path to liberation. The first drop of nectar is the teaching to recognize the dual nature of the mind. This is the statement of the Amrita Bindu Upanishad. The mind is said to be of two kinds, pure and impure. The impure mind is entangled in desires and resolutions, while the pure mind is free from desires. This is the first clarity of this teaching, which acquaints us with the true nature of the mind. This teaching explains that the mind is neither inherently good nor bad. The mind becomes what we shape it to be. An impure mind is one that is constantly surrounded by the desire to acquire and the fear of losing, entangled in memories of the past and imaginations of the future, thus disconnected from the present. For this reason, it remains restless, just as sunlight neither penetrates nor reflects in a lake filled with mud. Similarly, a mind filled with desires cannot experience inner peace. A pure mind is one that remains steady in the present, free from the burden of desires. This does not mean escaping from life, but understanding the difference between necessity and desire. Actions are performed but there is no attachment to the expectation of results. Such a mind is pure like a calm lake, in which one's true identity becomes clearly visible and the innate joy within begins to manifest on its own. A simple way to bring this first drop into life is awareness, observing thoughts without judgment, without attachment, just as the sky watches the clouds. Becoming the witness of your thoughts, as soon as you recognize a thought, its grip begins to loosen, just like darkness disappears on its own when a lamp is lit. Practice sitting quietly for a few moments each day to observe the activity of the mind. Let thoughts come and go without attaching yourself to them. This practice gradually settles the mud of the mind, purifies consciousness, and brings stability within. This is the first process of purifying the impure mind. This is the true taste of the first drop of nectar. The second drop of nectar reveals the truth that bondage arises not from objects, but from attachment. The Upanishad states, Bandhaya Visaya Saktam, meaning the mind attached to objects is the cause of bondage. The problem is not in the world, but in clinging to the world. Whatever is seen, heard, tasted, touched, or experienced is called an object, and enjoying them does not cause bondage. Bondage occurs when our peace depends on these objects, when the mind clings to an object, person, or situation. Fear arises upon gaining pleasure that it might be lost. Pain arises when it is not attained, and sorrow overwhelms when it is lost. In all three states, the mind remains restless. This is the web of attachment that continuously holds the mind captive. A human is like a monkey who fills its fist with grains and gets trapped because it cannot let go of those grains. Liberation is in its own hands. It only needs to open its fist, but attachment does not allow it to do so. Similarly, wealth, prestige, relationships, thoughts, and memories are all tightly clenched fists that we hold on to. Because we lack the courage to let go, we imprison ourselves. Even sorrow becomes an attachment. Repeatedly reliving old pains and identifying ourselves with those stories keeps the mind bound. Whether attachment is to joy or to pain, both are contrary to peace. The way to bring this second drop into life is wisdom. Whenever joy or sorrow becomes excessive, ask yourself, am I enjoying or am I becoming attached? Is my peace dependent on this object or situation? If it is gone, will I break inside? As wisdom awakens, the mind learns to take a step back. Use things, but do not cling to them. Love people, but do not bind them. Savor the essence of life, but do not make your happiness dependent on anyone. As soon as the grip loosens, the bonds begin to break, because true freedom lies not in holding on, but in letting go. This is the essence of the second drop of nectar. The third drop of nectar reveals this great truth that if attachment is bondage, then detachment is liberation. The Upanishad says, Muktyai nirvishayam smritam, meaning that a mind free from worldly objects is said to be the cause of liberation. Detachment does not mean renouncing the world or fleeing from life. The Upanishad does not teach escape from life, it teaches the art of living rightly in the world. The true path is to remain free from attachments that bind the mind while living in the world. Detachment is to live like the leaf of a lotus, which lives in water but water does not cling to it. Similarly, detachment means keeping the mind untouched by the world even while living in it, fulfilling household duties, completing responsibilities, continuing to act but knowing deep inside that all these are merely roles being played. Your true identity lies far beyond these, in that self awareness, which always remains calm and as a witness. Living life with detachment, success does not turn into arrogance, and failure does not turn into despair, because it becomes clear that actions are in our hands, but the results are not. Then the mind becomes free from within. The compulsion to influence others gradually ends. The restlessness to prove something weakens. Actions begin to be done only with a sense of duty, and life becomes a celebration, not a burden. Just as scenes in a movie make us laugh and cry, yet we remember that it is just a movie. Similarly, every experience in life is lived with full awareness, but without attachment to it. Understanding life as a divine play and living within it while being its witness is the practice of detachment. The way to bring this third drop into life is the attitude of witnessing, observing emotions and thoughts without attachment. When anger arises, do not become it, but watch it arise. When happiness comes, do not immerse yourself in it, but watch it fade away. And always keep reminding yourself that I am not the emotions. I am the consciousness that observes them. Every day, cultivate the feeling that I am the witness of the drama of my life. Whenever a strong emotion arises, take a breath and say inwardly, I am not this emotion. I am the witness of it. And at night, watch the day's events like a movie, observing without any blame or praise, just observation. This practice cleanses and frees the mind from within, making one untouched by the world even while living in it. This is true liberation. This is the divine nectar of the third drop of immortality. The fourth drop of nectar tells us that disciplining the mind is the ladder to the supreme state. The Upanishad says, when the mind, freed from attachment to objects and fully restrained, rests in the heart and attains the state of the self, then that is the supreme state. In other words, when the mind, free from attachment to worldly objects, becomes completely steady in the heart and is established in the state of the self, that is the supreme position, the highest state. Here, restraint does not mean suppressing the mind nor crushing it, because a suppressed mind does not become peaceful. It smolders like a volcano inside and erupts violently when given the chance. True restraint is not repression, but regulation, wisely directing one's mind, controlling one's consciousness with the reins of intellect. When the senses are drawn toward objects and the mind runs after them, life falls into pits like an uncontrolled chariot, gets trapped in pain, and drowns in unrest. But when the intellect vigilantly takes hold of the reins of the mind, that same chariot moves with balance. The seeker remains safe, and the journey becomes auspicious. This is the practice of the mind, neither to stop it, nor to suppress it, nor to fight it, but to consciously guide it. When the mind gradually moves away from external subjects and begins to settle inwardly, ceasing to get entangled in external attractions, it returns to its own source, and there the true nature of the self is revealed. Then the realization arises that I am not this body. I am not a bundle of emotions. I am not the stream of thoughts. I am the consciousness that observes all, pure, peaceful, and unchanging. This state is the supreme position in the language of the Upanishads, where no bondage remains, no search is left, no deficiency is felt. Only the experience of completeness remains. The way to bring this fourth drop into life is through calm meditation and self discipline, sitting quietly for a few minutes each day and attentively observing the breath as it comes and goes. When the mind wanders without anger or fatigue, gently bring it back to the breath. This practice strengthens the intellect and tightens the reins of the mind. At the same time, adopting small restraints in life, avoiding pointless arguments, leaving unnecessary distractions, and performing every task with full awareness. That is self discipline. That is the practice of directing the senses. Gradually, the practitioner experiences that now circumstances do not control him, emotions no longer sweep him away, thoughts no longer remain his master. Instead, he himself becomes the vigilant charioteer of his life's chariot. This is the true power of the fourth drop of nectar. Not victory over the mind, but balance within the mind. And in that balance, the nectar of peace. The fifth drop of nectar reveals to us that supreme truth, which is the ultimate goal of all spiritual practice. The great sayings of the Vedas proclaim this. Tattvam asi, meaning you are that, and Aham Brahmasmi, meaning I am Brahman. This drop does not lead to any external practice, but towards that supreme experience where the knower, the act of knowing, and the object known all become one. The Upanishads teach that when the mind becomes completely pure and steady, it becomes a clear mirror in which the true nature of the self is clearly perceived. Then there is the realization that what we called the individual soul, Jivatma, and what we called Brahman are not two. They are two names of the same conscious principle. This is explained with the example of a pot and the vast sky. The sky seen inside the pot is not different. It is a part of the infinite sky. Only the walls of the pot create the illusion that there are two skies, one inside and one outside. As soon as the pot breaks, the sky inside does not go anywhere. It was always the infinite sky. Similarly, the body and mind are like a pot from which the enclosed consciousness we consider as the individual soul and the consciousness spread outside is called the supreme soul or Brahman. But the truth is that both are the same consciousness. When the veil of ignorance is removed by knowledge, the experience arises that I was never separate. I have always been Brahman. This is Brahman knowledge, the true recognition of the self. It is knowing that I am not the limited body or restless mind, but infinite, eternal, peaceful consciousness. This is the ultimate nectar drop that frees one forever from the cycle of fear, illusion, and sorrow. As soon as this realization dawns, the world no longer appears alien. The same consciousness begins to be seen in every being. Fear disappears. Because fear always arises from the other, and where there is no other, how can fear remain? Desires become calm, because one who is complete in oneself no longer wishes to obtain anything. A person acts, laughs, lives, but remains established in complete inner freedom. He becomes the embodiment of love and compassion because he sees his own reflection in everyone. This state is not attained by mere thought. It manifests only through the continuous practice of the preliminary drops of nectar, purification of the mind, liberation from attachment, the discipline of detachment, and restraint of the mind. This is the pinnacle of knowledge, the ultimate celebration of life, the divine essence of the fifth drop of nectar. Now let us together feel the essence of this entire journey. These 5 nectar drops of the Amritabindu Upanishad are not just teachings, but the complete art of living life in its true sense. The first teaching makes us understand that the mind can be pure as well as impure, and the nature of the mind becomes whatever form it is given. The second teaching tells us that it is not things themselves, but the attachment to them that is the root cause of bondage. The third teaching instructs that true liberation is to remain untouched by the world while living in it. The fourth teaching makes us realize that controlling the mind through intellect is the supreme practice of life. Only then does the chariot of life move forward in the direction of its goal with balance. And the fifth teaching proclaims that knowing oneself is the ultimate knowledge, the realization that I am not this limited body or restless mind, but that infinite, eternal, and peaceful consciousness. These 5 drops form the essence of the spiritual path, whose journey begins with external hustle and bustle and culminates in inner peace. This practice transforms the restless mind from an enemy into a friend, and this process turns life from a burden into a celebration. Remember, peace is not found anywhere outside. It always exists within you. Only the noise of the mind covers it, and the ancient knowledge of the Upanishads, thousands of years old, is the key to quieting that noise. If you too want to experience this nectar drop in your life, then pause for a moment and calmly write nectar drop in the comments. And if this journey has touched your heart, then share this knowledge with your loved ones. Lovingly share this video and stay connected with us on this path. Thank you from the heart for listening to this video till the end.